Back here to Mac and Bob's Tuesday Night Live on your Maroon Webcast Network. I have none other than Coach Ryan Pflugrad, who just completed his first season as the men's soccer head coach. Coach, I know you wish the season was still going on. It all started in July in Argentina and ended up in November in Lynchburg. Tell us what happened during that 3-month span.
Yeah, when you're in it, it seems like a long process. When you're done, man, that went by really quickly. So it just seemed like just the other day we were just down in leaving for Argentina, and a lot went down. We had quite a few pretty special wins on the season, a lot of tough games throughout. And I think really we had a lot of experiences as a group. The guys saw a lot. And that's something we talked about throughout the season. I mean, I don't know if I've worked with a team that has seen so much in a single season. Between the fact that in Argentina we're faced against players that are undoubtedly going to be professionals, big time professionals in the world stage, a couple of U17 Argentine national team players, so there's some experience there where we're playing against some of the best players in the world, and then to go into the season faced with some adversities that we got hit with early with injuries, battle through them, some big time wins early on in the season, some very good attacking play, very consistent play on both sides of the ball, and then just a streak of some overtime games too, which you just shake your head at. Again, I hadn't seen that much of it in a season specifically, maybe throughout my 13 years of college coaching, 12 years of college coaching, but not in one season. So
we talked about it, and I don't know whether you said this or whether it was Richmond Bramlett. You had lost a double overtime game for the second time, and after they scored the goal, and I knew you were frustrated. Somebody says, you know what, soccer is a cruel game.
Yeah, the cliche, but it's a truth, is that it probably is the sport of any of them that you can dominate statistically and not win the game the most often. Like, again, in basketball, if your shooting percentage is higher, generally speaking, or if you are the better team on a day, generally speaking, you're going to win that game. Same goes for football. A lot of other sports, but soccer, because it can be a lower scoring game, and sometimes the ball just doesn't go in, and it only needs to go in one time for one team to win and the other team to lose. So I do think it is probably the cruelest sport in terms of that.
As we said, you started the season 8-1-1. You were ranked in the top 15 in the country for the whole month of October, and then going back to the injury bug. Wow, the first one, senior Johnny Hughes, that was a heartbreaker. Then of course your offensive firepower, Mark Dingle, had an injury. I believe he was growing, but we felt bad for Johnny Hughes because it was his senior year and he was having such a great first 5 games on the defensive side of the field.
Yeah, I think we all felt bad for him in terms of especially senior year and what he had been doing for the group. Had a good Argentina, had a great spring last year when we went through that, and definitely lost something there. Not just a senior, but also a very good player. That when we look at it, the one thing that I really think we missed in him in terms of on-field production is he's excellent on restarts, corner kicks, and free kicks, and getting his head to the ball. He proved it last spring. He scored a great goal against VMI in our spring game when we beat them, and then down in Argentina was very dangerous on a lot of corner kicks as well. And again, we go to the stat line. We out-cornered most every team we played throughout the season, but I think that gives you one more 6-foot-plus guy who's good in the air, and we lost throughout the year with the injury.
Okay, on the positive side, though, Coach, you have 21 returning players coming back if they should decide to all come back. Just to name a few: Carball, Lentine, Beck, Goyette, Ilias, not to mention goalie Sinclair coming back. That's a good nucleus to work with.
Yeah, I mean, it's a positive. The thing that I look at every day, we have a kind of like a recruiting board in the office, and you look at the group that is returning. We've got guys that can play all the way through that 21, and some that maybe even didn't get as much opportunity as they would have liked this year. We have some very, very talented players who did prove their ability, not only in the ODAC, but nationally, that they're players that are at the top of the game in the country. We also have, from what I know of the guys, and especially what I've seen in the last 2 weeks, an incredibly motivated group about to return, and I would not doubt us moving forward with the group that we have.
Now, you talk about recruiting. I know the hotbed is the Blacksburg, Christiansburg area, and you've got several on your team. I'm sure as soon as the last game was over, you were hitting the recruiting trail, and not to mention the players probably working with Coach Sampson in strength and conditioning.
Yeah, we kind of coaching staff. We hit it the next day. The day after we were done, uh, Corey, assistant coach, was in Northern Virginia. I was in Maryland the next morning, and we've been going after it pretty much nonstop ever since. Try to get the guys to take a little bit of time on their own, be normal college students for a little bit, but I'll tell you, it didn't last long from what I'm seeing. They're itching to get back out, itching to get in the weight room, itching to prepare. I think, again, the feeling amongst the guys in the group is that this is not going to happen again. We're not going to end the season like that, and not where we should be, which is champions of the conference.
Well, the great thing is, Coach, you use that as a motivational tool. Most of these young men, people don't realize this, they all play for travel club teams starting in the spring, so they'll go straight from March all the way until they come back to school, right into camp.
You know, current guys?
Yes.
Yeah, there's some summer league stuff that they can do. We do have, like, a spring season as well, 16-day training season, and then we get to play basically 2 exhibition days. In addition to that, we got a group of guys that loves to play, so you can probably find them in alumni gym at any point during the winter, January, and February months, playing pickup soccer, futsal soccer, and then when it hits the summertime, there's like all sorts of leagues all over the country that they can go in and continue to play in.
Well, I know Roanoke College is excited about next season. I'm glad to have you a part of the team. Congratulations on the 9-win season. We look forward to broadcasting your games again on the Maroon Woodcast Network.
Okay, thanks for all your guys' support this season.
When we come back, we're going to talk to Susan Dunnigan, head women's basketball coach, all right here on Tuesday Night Live, Mike and Bob's on the Maroon Webcast Network.